All right. Okay. Let me know if you can hear me from here. Uh, can you hear me loud and clear? Let me know if you can hear me. Uh, please drop a comment. So let me know if you can hear me. All right. Thank you so much. I can hear. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So we're getting started. We're not wasting time. So thank you so much for joining us on another edition of Rice Conference Africa. It's a pleasure to have every one of us here. So, if you have someone that you've recommended this program for, so I think now is the time to call them, let them know that we are live now. The conference is live, so let them know. Send a message, send a DM, share the link. Forward this to somebody. Let them know we are live. We are live. We are live. Rice Conference 2025 is up again, and today is going to be an amazing time. We're going to be having great conversations around a number of things, and I'm sure you don't want to miss it, and you don't want your friends to miss it as well. So let's share this link. Let people know we are live now. We are live now. All right, so we're getting started, and shortly before I bring up our speaker for today, we'll be having two speakers. So, what's Rice Conference about generally? In case you're watching this video for the first time or you're joining us for the first time on this platform, Rice Conference Africa is a conference that the Lord has planted in our heart to host annually every year. And basically, what we do is to share knowledge on this platform. On the platform of Rice Conference, we share knowledge, impactful knowledge that are grounded in truth and are grounded in principles, godly principles that can help to move our life, our career, and our businesses, whatever it is we do, that can help us move forward in life. So basically, that's what Rise Conference is all about. It's a platform to educate, to equip, and transform lives, basically. And we've been doing this for a couple of years. We started 2019, so this is 2025. So it's been a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. So thank you so much for joining us once again on this platform. Like I said, share the link, please. If you have not done that, please share this link. Let it go viral. Let people know that something is happening here today. All right. Thank you so much. So without wasting much of our time, we'll dive right into it, and I'll be bringing up our speaker for today. His name is Mr. Favour Afolabi. Actually, we had a bit of concern. We had a little, uh, how do I put that now? Our speaker, who is supposed to be the CEO of SQ High, couldn't make it for today. Some things came up and he just needed to attend to them. However, he has sent us a very, very strong representative. He has sent us a very strong representative, and trust me, it's also going to be yet another time of blessing, even with this person. So, we are really, really blessed to have our brother, Mr. Favour Afolabi, to have him on board, and he will be speaking to us in place of the CEO of SQ High, and we are trusting God that so much we'll be getting so much even from this session. So there's nothing to be bothered about. We are here for impact, and we are going to get a load of it. We're going to get a load of it. So our speaker is right here already, Mr. Favour Afolabi. I'll be reading his profile, and after that, he will be picking up the mic and he will be speaking to us. All right, so are we ready? So if you're ready, just type "I'm ready" in the comment section. Let me see if we are ready for us. Let me see. I'm ready. Type "I'm ready." I'm ready, and then we can bring forward. We can bring our speaker on and then we take it off from there. So if you are ready, let me see your comment. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready. Let me see a comment though. I can see about 5 people watching us. Okay, thank you so much. I'm ready. All right. Okay. I'm really, really ready to. So I'll be reading his profile now, and we'll be coming on board. Okay, awesome, awesome. All right, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can see a lot of I am ready. We are truly ready. Okay. I'm so excited. I don't know why. I'm just so excited because I know that today is just going to be amazing for somebody. I hope your pen and your jotter, you've gotten them ready. It's going to be a lot today. So, Favour Afolabi is the lead software developer at Edoza Systems and also doubles as a mentor in the software engineering department at SQ High College of ICT. He builds enterprise applications that are currently in use in different institutions across organizations and across the nations, across different organizations, institutions, and across the nation, even beyond. Favour Afolabi has mentored and trained thousands of students who hold top positions in tech companies across the world. Favour Afolabi is a Christian, is passionate about seeing others grow holistically. Is a man of excellence, a man of impact, a man who has really invested his time and energy in building himself up. And he will be speaking to us today, representing the CEO of SQI. He's also a great faculty member at SQI. And we are really, really excited to have him to speak to us. So thank you so much. So with our, I don't know, can we have a virtual clap? So with a virtual clap, let's make welcome Mr. Favour Afolabi. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. um, so I'm really excited to be here. Like you mentioned, I'm just excited to be sharing with us today. This is Vice Conference, and I trust that it's going to be a blessed time together once again today. Before I continue, sincerely, Dr. Adeyemi Aderinto actually planned to come for the conference. He planned to be around, just that some other things came up that he just needed to attend to. That's why he's not here today. He sends his regard, and I'm bringing his regard to everyone. Thank you so much for having us. Thank you so much for having me. I'm going to go straight into the conversation for today. I'll share my screen shortly. All right, so it is Rice Conference, and I believe the theme for this year's conversation is impact. However, I'll be speaking more in the light of bridging the gap, education, skills, and opportunities for young people in the digital age. So this topic is an interesting one. It's an exciting thing to discuss. However, I'm going to rather begin it this way. There are many things we could call opportunities, right? And for some persons, we would have thought opportunities means avenues for me to make some money. Opportunities means avenue for me to whatever definitions that we have, and then definitely we understand what the digital age means. But so that we could be on the same page as we have this conversation today, I'm going to be kind of redefining some of these key aspects of the topic so that we could be on the same page, and then we journey all together. We journey all together. When we speak of opportunities in the digital age, I feel you could maybe search online opportunities in digital age, and you will find a lot of them. Is it software development? Is it graphics design? Is it to build a startup? You will find a lot of things to read. But the question is, why have we not been plugging into those opportunities yet? If we could just search online and find many of those opportunities, why are we not plugging into it yet? So it then means that what we need is not just the awareness, It's not just to know about those opportunities. There has to be a way, every one of us, there has to be a way each person can plug into that. So what I'll be sharing with us today, yes, will show us those opportunities, the things that are possible in the digital age, the things you can do. But much more is going to be showing you your own place. Where do you fit in? Where do you plug in? Where do you belong in this scheme of operations? Peradventure, when you understand what your stand is, when you understand what your position is, maybe you would engage. I'll take that again. What I'll be sharing with us today definitely will be showing us those skills, those opportunities that are available. But I'm saying beyond the awareness of what is possible, beyond the awareness of the opportunities, it's going to open your eyes to see your own place in the whole scheme of things. Your own contribution, where you come in, where you fit in. And I'm saying peradventure, when you understand that, maybe you would now begin to engage. Maybe the things you've abandoned, maybe the things that many more persons have kind of ignored, maybe they'll begin to pick it up, and then the impact can truly happen. Yeah, maybe the impact can then begin to truly happen. So once again, I'm aware that the conference is themed impact. Impact. And the thing about impact is it's not measured by how much you receive. It's not measured by how much you acquire. I mean, in terms of material things, money, and all of these things that we may see around here. Yes, for men of impact, those things actually follow them. That's the idea. That's the truth. For men of impact, for persons who are truly making impact, these other things that we can begin to seek, it actually does follow them. But I'm saying that impact is not measured by what we acquire. It is rather a function of how much you're able to give. It's a function of your contributions, what you bring to the table, what you're able to supply, the problems you solved, the solutions you delivered. That's the thing. There are many names across history now that if we look back into history, there are some names that we can't forget. There are some names that we just cannot forget. We just cannot forget them. Not because those names are beautiful in themselves, but the impact, the things that the persons that bought the name, the things they did has actually beautified those names. Such that even you in this day, you may want to name your child in a similar way. It's not because the name is beautiful in itself. There are many beautiful names. But the persons who carried that name, there were things they did that left some indelible marks in our heart. So these are the things we are going to be discussing today as we explore this subject, bridging the gap, education skills, opportunities for young people in the digital age. So stay with me as we explore this together. However, before I continue, I would like to say a big thank you to our host today, a big thank you to the organizers of the RISE conference. It's an opportunity to be here. It's an exciting opportunity to be sharing on this platform, one that I do not take for granted. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for the effort in putting this together. All right, so moving on, I'll be sharing on what I call opportunity window. And if you can see my screen, you find the illustration that I attempted to put up here, opportunity window. So this is what I mean. When you look at the broad scheme of things, there is what the world needs, and that's why I represented here with this second circle. There is what the world needs, what the world currently needs, what the world is looking for. And by the world, I mean the people of the world, I mean nations, I mean families, states, territories, different persons. There is what they need. There is what they are looking up for, someone to solve for them. There are needs. There are needs. And in that same schema, there is what you as a person can offer. There is what every one of us can offer, more like what you would say, what we bring to the table. And that's represented here. But you see, what we call opportunity is actually the intersection between what you can offer and what the world needs. I don't know if that is taken. I'm going to take it again. What we call opportunity, what we call yes, opportunity, is the intersection between what everyone can offer and what the world needs. What do I mean? There are a lot of things you can do. Eh? And there are a lot of things the world needs. While each person may not be able to solve all the needs of the world, but there are those things you can do that is actually a solution to a particular problem or some problems in the world. And by the world, I mean the entire universe generally. That like in mathematics, we have what we call set theory, right? That in the set of the things you can do, your own capacities. In fact, your certificate is part of those things that you own, those things that you possess. The skills you learned, the things you learned in school, the certificate that is actually a proof of the things you learned. That's the real deal. Speaking of education now, the certificate we earn in school is actually a proof of the things we have learned. So it's like certifying us that this one knows this thing. So that knowledge is part of the things you can offer. However, I'm saying what we call opportunity is the intersection between that thing that you can offer and what the world needs. There is a point where what you have, there is a point where what you possess, there's a point where what you can offer meets the need of the world. And that window is what we call opportunity. Opportunity, in a simple sentence, is actually it's an avenue for value proposition, an avenue to give, an avenue to give. That's the word, an avenue to give. So what many persons see opportunities as is something like, okay, an opportunity for me to receive, and it's good, it's true. Yeah, because when you give, you would receive. Yeah, but for many persons, what we see first is when they see opportunities, it's like an opportunity, a window, an avenue for me to receive. We are quick to see it as a way, a window for me to get, to acquire. But I'm kind of redefining that now. I'm saying that opportunity is rather an avenue for everyone to give. There is what you have. There is a window opening, and that is what we call opportunity. A moment, a platform where you can give, you can give out of the abundance of the things you have found. Be it in school, be it outside school, everything you've learned, everything everyone has been able to acquire as value. So opportunity is that avenue for us to give, for us to give. This needs to first be settled in our mind because when I begin to list out those things that are possible, when I begin to explain, when I begin to mention those things that are possible, possibility exists that we are quick to see the part of receiving, the rewards that come from it. But I'm saying foundationally, opportunities, but it's rather an avenue to give. It's an avenue to give, avenue to give. So I take this once again, it's an intersection between what you can do, what you can offer, and what the world needs. What the world needs. So I put up a few pictures here, and what I seek to do with this is to explain that in different ages across history, what the world needs is actually changing. I'm going somewhere. What the world needs is changing across history. The first picture you would see, there was a time when you have the physical strength, you are the needed person. I mean, if you are not strong physically, it's as though you are not needed anywhere. So we have that physical strength, that agility to go to war, to go to battle. That's like a need in the world. So you're a person of value. You're a person of value because you have what the world needs. Then the time came when, during the age of the Industrial Revolution, for sake of time, I may not be going deep into explaining what each of these periods represent. I just want you to pick the point here. During the Industrial Revolution, the need became, there are many things. The world is growing. The population is increasing. So what we have is no longer able to supply the need of the world. What we have, even in terms of physical strength, all of the things, looks as though they are not enough to keep the world going. We just need something more, or we needed something more. The world needed something more. And so there were some persons that rose in those periods, and what they did was to offer the world that thing that the world was asking for. It's a time when the population is growing. We needed light. What we used to know was the way of setting up light. Just an example now. The way of sparking light, the way of lamps and all. But now we need light on a larger scale. Beyond that, we need energy. We are beginning to run a lot of mechanical operations. We need something to power these things. And that was a need. So there were some persons that rose to the task, and what they did was to offer that solution. What they were doing basically was that they were giving. Because if you were around that time, you would know that it was not an easy thing for them to do, but they were just giving. It was as though the world sent them on errand, go and find us a solution. They were invested, they invested themselves in building, they invested themselves in putting certain things together that addressed the need of the world. And so today we celebrate those persons, like I said, not because their name is beautiful in itself, but because when the world needed certain things, they stood up and offered us what we needed. We celebrate those names. We even envy their results. They became so rich at it, but you may be quick to see the riches that came and neglect the work they put into the impact that they made. A time came again when, yes, we have the machines, we have the engines, but can this thing be faster? Can it be better? Can we process it better? That was the assignment of some persons. They took it up to say, oh, we are good, we know we are good. And you see, one of the language of the persons who made impact or who makes impact is that they are never satisfied. They are always looking for an opportunity, an avenue to give, to make things better. And that's why they are celebrated. So those guys were like, yeah, we are good, but could it be that we could do this in a better way? Could it be that we can run things in a better way? That was their own assignment. And it was not as though the word necessarily called them, say, if you do this thing for us, we'll give you this reward. That was not what they were after. They just wanted to make things better. They just wanted to execute things and make it work out. That was the idea. That was the idea for them. So they went into the labors, they went into labs, they went into processes, trying to come up with solutions, ideas that have shifted the world. That even till today, we still celebrate those persons. I repeat once again, we celebrate them not because their name is beautiful in itself, but the things they did, the things they gave has added beauty to their names. Added beauty to their names, and that's why we celebrate their impact today. Yes, they received, they became rich at it, but the foundational thing to see is not the riches that followed, it's the effort that they put into those things, the effort that they put into the operations. I'll take a little digression here before I begin to cross over into the other side of this my presentation. I graduated from Lautech. It's a university here in Oyo State. Many of us may know the school. And in my 100-level days, it was a time when strike was a common thing. I mean, almost every 6 months, there'd be a strike. In fact, I could remember in our second semester 100 level, we're about writing an exam. We're about to write, and it's not really like that anymore. We bless God for that. We're about writing an exam. That was when they declared a strike, and that strike lasted for maybe about 6 or 8 months. We were about writing an exam. We were in session about writing an exam. That's how that ended. That's how that ended in a particular year like that. But where am I going? That space of that strike was the time that I took to learn some skills. I'm still in school. I'm still learning. And that was in 100 level now. I took to learn some skill, and as led, as guided, as ordered, and all. I was learning software development. It wasn't an easy thing, as many would agree with me. I was learning software development, and in a couple of months, maybe because of the tenacity, because it was an intense moment of learning, very intensive, morning till night, even in the midnight. You'll find me behind PC sometimes, still trying to figure out stuff. You know how this thing can be. At the beginning, it was very easy, HTML, CSS. We got to JavaScript. It was looking like a whole lot. So we had to give it everything it takes. And so I was in class. And meanwhile, they plan to mention some of these things. But the excuse that some persons have for not learning or for not making impact are the challenges that life presented them. Sincerely, it's not your fault that those challenges came up. Absolutely not your fault. But where it becomes your fault is your response to those challenges. So I'm saying, on the path to learn, you want to acquire the skill. You know I need to learn this thing. And like I said at the beginning, it's not like you don't know what to learn. But sometimes there are just many excuses that we put together. If those guys that made the impact in the days I was talking about, if they had allowed those excuses, I hope you know we won't have what we have today. So one of the things that put them apart was that they just found a way around the challenges that presented themselves. So I'm saying, during those days, during those time of learning, I didn't even have a gadget that could make the learning comfortable. I was using a laptop that was like a desktop. Yes, because once the light goes off, the PC goes off. And we didn't have a secondary power source. In fact, we didn't even have a primary power source, both primary and secondary power source. That time, speaking of that time, we didn't have that. So all of these things were there. I was using a 2G phone, and the things I'm using to learn will require me to download many softwares. Softwares that goes as high as hundreds of megabytes, even gigabytes. I didn't have the resources to put those things together. But as God will have it, by the grace of God, in the space of about 3 months, was it 3 months? 3 months, 4 months, I became a full stack developer. I'm going somewhere, please. I became a full stack developer. Became a full stack developer. And by that, I mean actually full stack in a space of 3-4 months. And someone would say, how is that possible? Well, looking behind from hindsight, I would wonder too that how is that possible? But that was the case. I mean, front end, back end, database administration, even mobile application. In fact, in a space of a couple of months after, I learned Internet of Things. And I was practicing with these things. I was building. Sincerely, I was building. Looking behind from hindsight, I would wonder that how was that possible really? But it's possible. If anyone would determine to actually take advantage of some of these windows I begin to talk about, it is possible to learn the things needed to offer the value that the world needs. It's possible. It's possible. For some persons, their own excuse is, I don't know how good that thing is. Maybe because you've seen the bad side of it for a long time. And I've come to say to you that if you give a bad person a good tool, it will be used for a bad thing. That's the thing. So some persons would be like, if you learn these things, it may be applied for a bad operations and all of that. A good tool in the hand of a bad person is still a bad advantage. But you see, a good tool in the hand of the person is an opportunity, is an advantage, is a blessing. So the real thing about this whole operation is you, not just the skills, it's the person. So moving on, some of those challenges came to the persons that made impact in those days, and they choose to ignore the challenges. They choose to forge ahead in spite of those things, and that's why they could make the impact that they made. So what will be your own contribution to the things that the world need now? What will be your own contribution to the things that we desperately are looking for? You would think that the world is settled. You would think we have all that we need now. That's what you would think. I'm still going to talk about that. Let me not preempt myself. But I'm saying there are those challenges, that it is your own tenacity, your own skill, your own potentials, your own possibilities that will find answers to them. So as long as you keep them to yourself, the impact will not be made. As long as you keep them within yourself, you may not get to give us the things we need. And you are depriving the world of certain potentials, of certain possibilities. Let's take this a little further, and let's come to the digital age now. We've seen some of those things that were possible across those previous times, how that in different periods there were things that are needed. There were men who rose up to the task to give us those things that we need. But now let's talk about the digital age. This is a time when what the world needs has shifted a whole lot. There was a time when if you want to send a letter, you would approach what we call post office. You post it, you package the letter, you give it to them. And what they will do is they will process your letter, and maybe after 2 or 3 months, the letter gets delivered. Sometimes you would find persons who they are in school, they send the letter home to request for certain provisions. By the time they are getting the letter at home, it's almost the end of the semester already. The student is at home to pick up the letter that he sent by himself. So you can imagine when will the resource now come. I'm saying that was a period. So it was a need to make things faster. There was a need to make things faster. There was a need to make things easier. And there were persons who rose up to the task Today we still use them. An example is Gmail, right? You could send the letters, and in a matter of less than a second, it's delivered already. And on like that started coming up. It's a time where we need a lot more interconnectivity. People needed to reach out to others. They needed to market their product to many other persons. It became a need. Some persons rose up, took up the challenge, built platforms that makes that possible. We still use them till today. You see, some of them didn't beg the world to look at their site. They didn't beg. Okay, let me set the example. Mark Zuckerberg didn't beg you to look at his site. He didn't come to your doorstep to say, please use my platform. You just needed to use those things because they were meeting a need. That's it. They didn't need to beg. They didn't need to. They just rose, engaged, brought the solution, and the world just had to look at their site because they were offering what the world needed, the digital age. It's a time where someone from a part of the world needs to connect with another person. Some persons took that up. It's a time where we want to market our produce. You want to put it out there. You want people to see what you are doing. It's a time where conferences can be held on like the one we are currently having now. I hope you know. In the year 2020, when COVID-19 struck, nobody begged people to start using Zoom. We were not begged. They didn't force us. We just needed to migrate. It was a need, and we just needed to. That's the peculiarity of the digital age. And if you can take advantage of these windows, and gather enough value and supply as answer to these problems, it will make impact, and the rewards of the impactful persons will follow. So in 2020, when things were going online, churches needed to stream online, events needed to go online, conferences online, a lot of things like that. Nobody begged us to look at the side of Zoom. Meanwhile, Zoom had been existing before then. I hope you know. Zoom had been existing. The window just opened up. A need came up in the world, and what Zoom had as value was what they brought to the table, and that was it. That was it for them. That was it for them. A lot of things changed. Some persons were prepared for it, some were not, but a lot of things changed in that year, 2020, during the COVID-19. So I'm saying, for these persons who supply the answers, the solutions that the world need, the solutions that the world need, the solutions that the world need, they didn't beg for their attention. They just supplied what they needed, what they had rather, which is what the world needed. And then we had to look at their site. We had to look at the place because they were answering certain questions that we have. That's the peculiarity of the digital age. A lot of things are shifting. Devices are coming out, are out, and operations are becoming digital. Organizations need automation. They want to make things faster. There was a time when to make your transactions in the bank, you needed to queue physically. You had to be there before you can perform your transactions. But we are in the age where these things became automated. Some persons took up that task. I hope you know there were those who were doing the thing before it became automated. I mean, there were cashiers that the bank will employ to do it for them physically before the transition happened. When the application came out, what do you think will happen to those persons who were doing it before? Some of them had to be laid off, and it's still happening till today. Some persons just had to be laid off because what they had as value was no longer what the world needs. So the things have changed. Things are shifting. Things are shifting, massively shifting. Massively shifting. So if a person is with a fixed mindset, I think I'm good here. I'm comfortable. This is fine enough. It is just a matter of time. The digital age is a age where things are moving rapidly, very rapidly. Rapidly. So it's persons of growth mindset that survive in this kind of a time. It's persons of growth mindset. So there were those persons who what they need to do was to enter the transactions manually. A time came when they were no longer needed. We built an application. We specialize in building enterprise applications, actually, automations for processes. We built an application. And this application was supposed to automate things around payroll and accounting operations. So one of the institutions that picked it up, something happened, and I'm permitted to share this because it has been shared and I have the permission actually. So something happened. What happened was that in their payroll department, they had say 10 persons, if I'm not exaggerating actually, which I'm not. about 10 persons to do the processing of their payroll. So that could take like 2 months for them to get settled. And it was a normal thing. I mean, they paid people to do these things, and it was good until an application was introduced, until something was introduced. Those that embraced it, those that were quick to learn, adapt, and start working with it, they were the ones that were remaining. At the end of the day, just about 2 persons were remaining in that department. What happened to the rest, I can't say. I don't know. Maybe a laying off or maybe a posting some other department or something. But I'm saying this is a age where things are moving rapidly. And as things are moving rapidly, the needs are also increasing. One problem solved is that it's kind of opening up another window for another opportunity, another avenue to give something. So it's a time where you cannot afford to be valueless, if there's a word like that. It's a time when you can't afford to stay comfortable. It's a time when you can't afford to just exist. It's a time when you can't afford to just be there. It's a time when you want to build up value. It's a time when you want to build up enough value to offer solutions that the world needs. During one of those days when I was in this should be in 200 level now, in the school here, I saw that when we want to have a class, there's a particular class we used to have, and it takes us about 1 hour to mark attendance. We were so much in that class. And we just needed to mark attendance, I don't know, maybe for C and all of that. And that was the time that I was just done learning software development. I mean, during the strike, it was at the resumption of the strike. So I just approached the lecturer. Can I build something around this? Will I even approach? No, I built it. That was what I did. I built it and I want to show them. That's what I did. I built the thing and I want to show them that this attendance that takes us about 1 hour to mark, I think it can take less than 5 minutes. There has to be a way to do it. So I built this application and this is how we use it. This is how we use it. I'm telling you, by the following class, the application was adopted. By the following class, it was adopted. Of course, it was a time when I didn't necessarily request for a payment for it. And that's one of the things that hold back so many persons. I'm putting a lot of things into this conversation so that I won't take too much time. You believe you have a value you want to give, but one of the things that may have been holding back is that you want to be rewarded for it immediately. I think that's not how it works. I think the way it rather works is this thing that we call delayed gratification. How that you know the value you have, but you are willing to offer it at least to meet the problem first, to solve the problem, to give the solution, such that when the solution is given and there is a track record of some of those things you've done, the reward will now begin to come. Sincerely. So some persons have the value, but they want to be rewarded for it in the immediate. They want the money, they want that to come. It may not exactly be like that. The persons that made impact in the times we've talked about, those guys were just obsessed with giving. They were just obsessed with giving. An example I may want to bring from scriptures. You see, there was a time in the palace where the king had the need, and nobody in the palace could meet the need for him. He said, I need a man that could play the harp, skillful at the playing of the harp. You see that now, skillful. It means he had learned it, he had mastered it, and he was so skillful at it. Meanwhile, he wasn't earning with it. He was not yet making money with it. Nobody knew him yet. He was building at the background. He was cultivating the value. He was building at the background. He was just one of the guys. Maybe the guy was just strolling by one day and he saw David playing and he said, this guy is playing so well. He was the one that brought the recommendation. He recommended him straight. Hey, I know someone. I've seen his records. I've seen the things he had done before. I've seen the value that he possesses. I've seen him demonstrate these things. So they summoned him. He came to the palace, met the need, and that was the beginning of his elevation. And I'm saying that's how it works. So it's a time to build value. It's a time to gather so much. It's a time to cultivate the values that makes for the impact even in the world. So I built that software. It was adopted. And the way it works that time, it was a local network. Not even internet was not even in there. I built it on a local network. And the lecturer just needs to come around. They can connect like 3 different phones or devices and they can mark their attendance while we are taking the class. It was just like that. There was plans to maybe take it up a little more, but That was just enough for that time, and the semester was over. They were so grateful for it. It was a need, there was a skill, and there was an intersection. Remember that my analogy again. Let me bring it up. You have the skill, there is what the world needs, and that intersection is what we call opportunities. Opportunities. So let's take it a little further now as I maybe approach rounding up. In the digital age, these times that we're currently in, the opportunities available, they fall within these two categories. The available opportunities fall within these two categories. And I will beg that you listen even as you look at this together. You may be saying, I have the skill. How does it convert? How do I begin to offer that as an answer to the world? What another person is saying, I don't even have a skill and I don't know where to start from. This is the time to listen. In the next 5 minutes thereabout, those questions will be answered. All right? Good. So I said in this digital age, impact can be in these two ways. One, problems, which is where a lot of focus is. Problems, and what I've been saying. There are problems that the world knows that we have. We know that this thing is a challenge, and we really need someone to solve it. For example, cancer is still a challenge. Solution is still being sought. How can we get rid of this thing? There are many things like that is still a challenge, and the world is seeking for answers, solution. How do we solve this thing? Those are problems. Problems. All right? But the other part of it are the solutions that the world didn't know we need until someone introduced it. Some of those, we didn't know we need them until someone introduced, and when they introduced it, we're like, oh, really? We really would need this thing. For example, we probably didn't know we needed a WhatsApp until WhatsApp came. WhatsApp came telling us that by bringing you a chat application that is private, end-to-end encrypted. That was what they advertised. And many persons, a lot of persons went into it. It's now that we're having other features that are more like social media. The primary thing was that they brought us an application that we could use to connect to one another as privately as speaking in a private space. I don't know if that makes sense to you. We probably didn't know we needed something like that, but they brought it. They brought it. There was also a time when Facebook was just a chatting application. And a time came when they saw a need. People were doing their businesses, they were marketing, and they probably didn't know that they needed something that could run ads for them, advertisement, sharing what they have to offer with the entire globe, with the entire universe. But Facebook saw that thing and said, we could offer the world this thing. They brought it, and we have what we have today. They had the value, there was the need they identified, and then they brought it. I'm saying two things. One, problems that the world knows we have, and then you plug into that to offer a solution. Or you bring ideas, solutions that we didn't know we need until you introduce it. Now let's look at something here very quickly. Many persons may be in school now, education. And maybe someone is wondering, but my course of study, I don't know if this will really translate into an impact in the world. Maybe another person is saying, with the course I'm taking, I don't know, I'm not sure I can exactly learn some skills that makes me more valuable with this. Whether you're on the side of the former or this later, there is something that can be done. You are in school. Like I mentioned earlier, I was in school when I started my software development. My first internship was in 200 level. My first full-time engagement, full-time employment was in 200 level. In fact, my first enterprise application contributing to a major project was in 200 level. And meanwhile, that was at the time when I was attending 2 departments because I wanted to change course. I was taking tests in 2 different departments. I was writing assignments, taking lectures in 2 departments. There were many other responsibilities at that same time. And yet that was the time that I was contributing massively to an enterprise application, enterprise project. That's what we specialize in definitely anyway. Business to business provisions. And that was it. So if your own excuse is, There is no time. I'm saying this is not the time for that kind of thing. You can't say there is no time. You cannot. You cannot say there is no time. Maybe there's a wisdom around how to manage it, but I'm saying when you see it and you identify your place in this whole scheme, you will jettison all excuse and challenge and go for this thing. And go for this thing. And since then, of course, it has been on and on, up and up, that we are grateful for till today. I'm grateful that I engaged. I'm grateful that I engaged those periods, gave it the energies that I demanded. Yes, am I saying it's easy? Of course, I'm not saying it's that easy. I'm not saying it's very comfortable like that. No, that's not the point. But if you are really ready to make impact, you will give it all it takes. You will engage all it takes. You will learn when you need to learn. You would. Some person will say it's the finance. I don't have the money to take the courses. That would be a mistake. That would be a mistake. In this time, this digital age, that almost anything can be learned online. That almost anything could be learned online. No. It's not this time. It's not this time. It's not this time. It's not this time. Sincerely, it's not. Some persons have some ideas. You know, this is what the world needs. You have some ideas within you. And sometimes your own concern is, don't know, I think I need money to start this thing. Let me give you an illustration. Or you have a seed, and you put that seed in a bag with you. Put that seed in a nylon with you. As long as the seed is within that nylon, as long as the seed is inside that bag, it will never be fruitful. It will never yield. It will never give fruit. The destiny of that seed definitely is to multiply, to give us many more trees. But as long as you keep it bound, as long as you keep it within the bag, it's not going to yield anything. There has to be a point where you take it out consciously, bury it into the ground, and see it give the increase that it needs to give. Yeah, bury it into the ground and see it give the increase that it needs to give. So you need to come out of that shell. You need to come out of those challenges, those excuses. You just need to come out of it. There's a lot that the world's in right now, and those things are opportunities, avenues for you to give your own contributions. Avenues for you to give your own contributions. And to be a blessing to do. To be a blessing to do. So let me share briefly on the tech side of these things. That may be a bit more general. Whatever it is you are learning in school, there has to be a point where that translates into an opportunity for the world to benefit from what you have. There has to be a way to translate that into solving a need. You are not earning that certificate for the purpose of the certificate. In fact, the certificate is only testifying that there's something you've learned in school. So there has to be a point where that thing you've learned in school translates onto a moment to give, a window, an opportunity to give, to give. So I want to talk a little more on the tech side of these things, and I'm saying that there are such skills that predisposes you more to making impact in this digital age. Not like there are no other skills are not relevant, but I'm saying more. There are skills that predisposes you more to making impact in this digital age, and that's because many of the operations are going digital. So we go where the world is going. That's the thing. We go where the world is going. You see where the world is going. Yes, you can take cues from history. You can take inference from history. But the real thing is to prepare yourself for where the world is going. You meet the need. Sometimes there are some things that people are building now that the world does not even think we need it already. By the time we come out, we meet it there. When Zoom built that application called Zoom, they didn't know that 2020 was coming. They just built something that they believed that the world will need this, maybe. They didn't know 2020 was coming. And when that time came, they were just ready. For many persons, opportunity is that moment where your preparation meets up with an invitation. Your preparation meets up with an invitation. You are prepared. You've gathered the skill. Now there is a need. There is an invitation. Sometimes you are summoned. Sometimes you are not summoned. You summon yourself. Like that case I cited. I summoned myself to offer that application to the school. Sometimes you were summoned. Sometimes you summoned yourself into it. Sometimes you just volunteered. And that's the beginning of greatness for many persons. Let me not take you further digress. So I'm saying there are such skills that you can learn or should have in this age that predisposes you to making impact in this day and time. One of the beautiful ones now is software development, sincerely. With software development, you could build out solutions by yourself. You could build out solutions by yourself. You could join efforts, and this is also important. There are those who your contribution is not necessarily to build out a solution, maybe yet. Your contribution is to bring that which you have onto a table where other things are being congregated. You are contributing value to build up value that the world needs. That's for some. You learn the skill, you master it enough to bring the contribution at a large scale to what the world needs. There is a thing in Africa, everyone wants to own their thing. We just want to be their own stuffs. That's good. Sincerely, it's good. But there is a place where, even for your own advantage in learning, in building, in growing, in your development, you bring that value, contribute it to the excellences that are being gathered by many other persons, and from there, we make greatness. We make great things. Sincerely, we make great things. We make great things. I'm going to be wrapping up in a moment, so that if there are questions, we can take that. But I'm saying that one of such skill is software development. You learn it, you master it, and you're able to build out solutions that are answers to the needs of the world or contribute immensely to the things of the world. But one thing we cannot avoid is that the world is going digital. It's going to be a lot more in the coming days, a lot more in the coming years. So you want to plug into that. And I already mentioned, whatever it is that wants to maybe deprive you of the opportunity of giving yourself into it, I think it's a good time to jettison them. You have to find a way around it. And you have to find a way around it. On the journey of impact, you should give it all it takes. We should be able to give it all that it takes, all that it takes, all that it takes. So the world needs answers. The world needs answers, a lot of it. And what opportunities represent in this day is a window for you to give, a window for you to bring your own contribution, bring your own ideas, bring your own value, what you've built over time, and offer it in a way that the world cannot ignore. Let me wrap up with this. This is tagged opportunities for young people. And you see, one of the advantages of the young people is our strength, physical strength, mental strength. It's a time you don't want to joke with. In fact, a time is coming when you may not be able to wield that much energy. And so now is the time, sincerely. Is it to learn a skill? Now is the time. Is it to build out a system? Now is the time. And for some, you have the system to build. Maybe you've been building, but you are thinking you are not ready yet to contribute to what the world needs. How about you set out and then fine-tune it? For some persons, that's the challenge. You have something you are doing. Maybe it's on a little scale, and you are thinking, maybe when it grows, maybe that's when I can contribute. No, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. The great things that we celebrate today, many of them started from a very small place. What they didn't do was that they didn't hold it back to themselves. They offered it. They offered it. For some, it's a time for you to engage some volunteering roles. You have the skill. It looks as though there is no space. I told you there is no space. Offer it. Offer it. Volunteer. You are building a system, bring it out there. Sometimes you don't even know what to adjust in the system until people start using it. So what you do is to bring it out and fine-tune in the process. Yeah. In the world today, we don't have perfect systems. What we have are systems that are being perfected. We don't have perfect systems. What we have are systems that are being perfected. So if you wait until you have it perfect before you come out, or before you contribute, and by this come out, I'm not necessarily saying in the word that people call blow, that I've blown. That's what I'm saying. That's not it. Come out here means you offering what you have. In fact, sometimes that offering means you are building up, you are learning while you grow at it. So please, if you're hearing this today, you are listening to this recording, my encouragement or my challenge to you is that there are problems, there are solutions that only you can bring, such things that only you can offer. So now is the time. You have the strength physical, you have the strength mental to think through things, bring out solutions, and that's how you contribute your own quota to the needs of the world, and that's where impact comes. That's where impact comes. That's where impact comes. That's where impact comes from. That's when impact actually comes. If I may emphasize one thing before I go today, I mentioned software development, and I just feel Maybe someone is saying, what if I can't code? Well, not everyone would necessarily build softwares. Like I said, many other skills that are needed for the advancement of what is happening in the world today. You just need to sit down, identify those things. I know in the subsequent sessions in these meetings, many of these things, many more will be communicated. You'll find your place and just have the heart, the willingness, the mind to give it all it takes, engage, and you're on the way to making impact. So there are many more other ones. AI is even evolving already. And I know you know about these things. That's why I didn't necessarily dwell on what skills to learn, rather focusing on the mind to contribute, to give. And it is my sincere desire that everyone attending this conference, everyone in this meeting, will henceforth rise and then begin to make impact that is required of them in this day and in the times to come. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. I say go and make impact. Bring your contributions, bring the things you have to do. There are needs in the world, there are things you could offer. Find the intersection and plug into it. Thank you so much once again. Thank you, Mr. Shola. Over to you now.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Awesome. That was awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was so insightful, practical, and full of so much, so much, so much. Even our audience are really, really saying thank you for that wonderful delivery. Thank you so much. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to unpack from this, and I'm happy that we are doing this. I'm really, really excited that we're doing this. I love how you also shared your story about when you were in school. We have a lot of young people as audience who are somehow they are also at this phase of trying to balance a lot of things and trying to do so many things. So I love some of those points you pointed out on the fact that you can't say you have excuse. You are still young. So now is the time to invest yourself into whatever it is you want to do. Now it is time to do all that is needful, all that is necessary. So thank you so much for sharing a part of you with us. So to our audience at this point, we would like to take just one or two questions if there are any. If anybody has a question, we just like to take like one or two. Thank you so much. We're having so much comment. People are really, really blessed by the insights you have shared. There's something about when you see a young person talking to a young person, and that's just make you to feel like if this person can if this person can do this, I think I have to do something with my life. I also have to do something, and that's really, really amazing. Thank you so much. So if there's any question, we'd like to take that now in about a minute or two. You can just drop your questions if you have any for Mr. Favour Afolabi. uh we would like to have your questions now. So after that, what we're going to do is we're going to go on a short break for about 10 minutes. We'll go on a short break for about 10 minutes, and then after that, we'll be back for the second session. So we call it a water break or a tea break, whichever break you want to call it. Because Mr. Favor has shared so much for us to digest. So let's quickly chew that for 10 minutes, and then we go on break, and then we come back again for the second session. Will be live. So, but before we do that, I just want to be sure there's no question. We are not depriving anybody of asking any question, if at all. Okay, so Mr. Favor works at SQI. So if you really love to be a part of what they do, it's a great organization. So we encourage that you reach out to SQI. Has their offices in Ogbomoso, in Ibadan, in Abuja, in Abeokuta, and in Oshogbo that I know of. So you can just reach out to them if you are in the technology space. This is the world that we have. It's a technology world. So many things are being digitalized now. So wisdom demands that we also get ourselves equipped, and we get ourselves acquainted with all of these things. So In the absence of questions at this point, we will go for a short break, and then we'll be back by 12:10. We'll be back by 12:10. So we encourage every one of us, please, just take the short break. Let's have you back by 12:10. Continue to share the link. Let people know that something amazing is going on here, and it will be a pleasure to have them being a part of us. So thank you so much, everyone. See you by 12:10. Let's have a great day. So see you by 12:10. Don't forget that. Let's have you back. All right.